Welcome to Business Innovators Radio, featuring industry influencers and trendsetters sharing proven strategies to help you build a better life right now.
Hi, this is Tammy Pastor, and I'm really excited to introduce you to today's guest, Frank Demming. He's known as the local business guy, and he means business, small business, that is. He's a marketing expert with a proven track record of helping local businesses from all over the continental U.S. increase their revenue by at least 25% within 12 months. He's been helping local businesses achieve their revenue growth goals since 2007, and he has recently written a book about the steps he takes to help them accomplish that. In a nutshell, his careful analysis of a business's current state results in a step-by-step implementation plan paired with careful nurturing. He has delighted clients become longtime fans. Frank's a devout New York Yankees fan, and he lives in New Jersey with his wife. Welcome, Frank.
Welcome, Tammy. Thanks for having me.
Hey, what is the title of your book?
It's titled 7 Steps to Recession-Proofing Your Business.
Oh, 7 Steps to Recession-Proofing Your Business. That is something that each and every business owner needs to know. I'm really interested in learning more about you. So let's start out and tell me a little bit more about who you help.
Yeah, I help a lot. I've got a lot of lawyers under my belt that I've helped in the past and currently, dentists, I got a lot of home improvement companies under my belt, chiropractors. I've got a few nail salons, although I don't think they see the value sometimes, because sometimes when I talk to them about it, they kind of like shun away. But the ones that I do have, they seem to do very well with the programs that we share. So those are the big ones. I have a couple of schools as well, like nursing schools out there. So, the local business, in other words, if their clients are local to them, that's who I help.
I think that's really important. And what you said about the salon owners, I think that is a little bit representative of some people, because there's just so much information that they need to know. It can be overwhelming. And so if they can't wrap their brain around it sometimes, it may be more difficult. But local business people really need the type of help that you provide. So can you talk a little bit more about your 7 steps that you have the book about?
Sure. I've got, I'll give you a brief synopsis on each one. So step 1 for me is passion. I think you have to have some sort of passion to serve your customers. I think the thing that drives business away from you the most is a lack of that passion. So that's why I have that as step 1. I think you can relate to that yourself.
Well, you have to be able to jump out of bed excited about the day, and when you get the thing about maybe I should just go get a job, you have to be passionate because you have to be able to get through those days. So number 1 is passion. What's number 2?
Number 2 is create your brand. Many times, I'm sure you've seen this. People are not sure what your brand is. You just got some clip art as a logo, and you don't have a a message in there that's catchy or anything kind of phrase. Branding is so important. Like I always give this example to people, like Target, right? If you see a red circle with a dot in it, the first thing that pops into your mind is Target, right? Even if you don't see Target underneath, if you see a red circle with a dot in the middle, Target is the store that comes to your mind. I mean, would you agree?
Yes.
So that's because they brand it. So small businesses, I've noticed, they think that, that's just because they're the big guys and they have the money to do it. No, it's not that. I mean, it's not that hard. If you've got the passion, you can come up with that brand.
So passion, branding, and what's number 3?
Number 3 is create a lead generation website. I always, and in my book, I go through some really good examples of this, but in a nutshell, if you're looking for just a business, what I call a business card website, then you can go and get your cousin Tim's son to build your website for you for your business, right? Because it's really just going to be a business card just to say I got a website. But if you're looking for a lead generator, you got to hire a professional company that knows what drives business and use the website as a lead generation machine so it goes on autopilot for you.
Autopilot, I like that. And you're right. Often local businesses will say that. They'll say, oh, well, my cousin, my uncle, and will do that. So what's number 4?
Yep. So, so number 4 is you have to create what I call a no-brainer offer. So, you oftentimes you've seen this in the internet marketing scene, get a free report or a free video with step-by-step of stuff. And obviously you're not going to do that if you're a local business. If you're a lawyer or a dentist, you're not going to do that. But there are creative ways that I go through in the book of how you can create a no-brainer offer on your website. You got to sprinkle it through your website to have that phone ringing. So it could be something for free. It could be something that's a huge discount. It could be a timing thing, like, for the summer we're doing this, for the winter we're doing that, for the fall we're doing, you know what I mean? So different, we do this a lot for restaurants, where they have appetizers for free between June and, between Labor Day and Memorial Day and Labor Day or something like that. It's a lot of no-brainer things that all it does is that it fills your pipeline, really. It's not going to make you rich, but it's supposed to fill your pipeline so you can market to them later.
Right, and restaurants are a good example for using some type of offer. I mean, a lot of people will come in if they get a free drink or even a free refill or an appetizer. I was just at a restaurant the other night and somebody brought in a free appetizer coupon, and it had a value of, it was like $8. I mean, had a pretty good value to it. And the people, it was funny because I was listening, and the lady, I think, got the appetizer and the man got the meal. So obviously they were on a budget date, but they figured it out, and then I'm sure that they enjoyed that time together, but they saved some money. But I'm pretty sure that they'll go back to that restaurant again and again because they, were attracted to it because of that. So,
and
passion.
Key. That is very key, Tammy. You got to use it as a tool to draw interest to them. It's not a moneymaker. It's your interest, because you're later on, and we'll go through it in the other steps. We're later on going to convert them into raving fans.
So we've got our no-brainer offer, and we're using a restaurant as an example. Now that they've got that, what do they do next?
So the next step would be what I call a stair-step sales funnel. So so you got the person in, right? And we can, I don't know if you want to continue with the restaurant as an example. I could have different ways. I want to show people.
Use whatever examples you'd like, because we have a lot of different entrepreneurial types and business people. So use as many examples as you want.
Okay, because I have a lot of different examples for this, where I had a customer of mine who is now very, very, very happy. He had a air duct cleaning service here in the Washington, D.C. area. Now, I used to live in Washington, D.C. That's what I'm saying, Washington, D.C. I recently moved to Jersey, so just want a full disclaimer there.
Okay.
But so in the Washington, D.C. area, an air duct cleaning will run you anywhere between $250 to $450, depending on the size of the house. So we did a no-brainer offer of $49 for air duct cleaning. But it was clear. It was like, $49 for one stem and all, it was like some disclaimers in there. But the point is that he had a stair-step sales funnel that we built for him, in that he can offer, a maintenance contract for them. He can also have a preventive air, furnace and AC unit repair service where they pay a monthly fee if anything goes wrong with their furnace, or they don't have to pay because they're already paying monthly. It's like a maintenance thing for that too. So he had that stair-step sales funnel there to create revenue on the back end while he was losing money in the front end with the the $49 air duct cleaning. So that worked very well for them. That's one example that we've used that for many, many times over, and it works well. I had a chiropractor where he's in Denver, Colorado. He had an alliance with a massage therapist. So they formed this team, and we said, look, if you're willing to go 50-50 on the massages, you can say something like, get a 90-minute massage for $50, let's say, or whatever. And they split that 25 and 25. But that wasn't the case. The case where they were getting, both of them benefited from this. Her services for massages increased, and his services as a chiropractor also increased because they were pointing out some stuff where they needed some adjustments as well. So that's where the stair-step came into play for him.
I like that. So you call that, did you say the stair-step funnel, sales funnel? Is that what you said?
Stair-step sales funnel, yeah.
Okay.
I try to come up with something a little different.
Yeah, no, I really like that because it illustrates it. You could call that the value ladder. You could call it a stair step. It basically, I love your examples because they're real world examples of how real people can think a little bit out of the box. Like you said, the chiropractor teams up with a massage therapist. It's very congruent and it makes sense. And I think that's an important message for people, is sometimes stop and look at who is there, who you could work with, who does something complementary to your business, so that you can help one another, because you don't have to do this alone. So I think those are really good examples. So what would you do after you've got your stair-step sales funnel going?
Now, after the stair-step sales funnel, when you've got that all created, I call it, the next step is the fortune is in the follow-up step. So a lot of times, unfortunately, Tammy, as you probably know, we as small business owners do an awful job for follow-up. And I'm going to give you an example of that. I had a customer they do really great shower enclosures. outstanding shower enclosures, but they're on the high end. They're not the cheapest guy in town. So they do get a lot of calls, but then when the people are find out exactly what it's called, what it costs, they kind of shy away or what have you. So they're not really converting a lot. They're getting calls, but not conversions. So I asked them recently. This is a really good example because it was recent. This literally happened last month. So I said, well, what are you following up with them? Do you add them to your list? Do you do this? Do you do that? And they're like, well, no. They said no, so we just move on. I'm like, no. They said no. No means not right now. But if you present them the value, right, they came to you for a reason because they want the shower enclosure. So you got to present them the value of it. You got to follow up with them. Give them a reason for them to remind you. Do some remarketing for them. Add them to your email list. I gave them this when I first signed up with them. They signed me up signed them up as a customer, but they turned it down because they didn't think they needed it. And then when they were getting these phone calls and I presented it to them, now they're allowing me to do their follow-up for them because they saw that, okay, well, he's making sense. I mean, I'm not the cheapest guy in town. I need to have it's a longer sales cycle. So the fortune is there. You're getting the calls. Now you got to convert them, and the way you're going to convert them, you're not going to convert them on the first call. So the way you're going to convert them is through follow-up.
That's really interesting how sometimes something that would seem to be obvious that you talk to someone, they're obviously interested, but they say, well, no, and you're absolutely right about in a sales situation, the no means no, not right now, or they probably have an objection about something that of course you would probably find out about later. And you're right, a shower enclosure is probably a fairly expensive project for someone. I'm sure it would be more than $500, maybe more than $1,000. I don't know, but I would think, people sometimes need a little more information, and it might be like, well, my shower, that shower curtain is still working. So, they might just have to justify it in their mind. So, yeah, they say the fortune is in the follow-up. Mm-hmm. And it's interesting that you said that a lot of local business people, sometimes they don't have a list, or it's interesting how many people still have the goldfish bowl on their on the counter, and they collect these business cards, and then you ask them, well, what do you do with them? Oh, we draw a name and then we throw them away. Ah! And you're like, and you're like, oh my goodness, do you need a little bit of education about that? So it sounds like you educate people, Frank. So now that you've got them, they've got their passion, their brand, a good lead generation website, and then they've got their stair-step sales funnel and they're following up, then what?
Okay, so once they have all of that in place, and I really push this in the book a lot, don't start step 7 until you've already at least have a framework in place of the top 6, right? You got to have that in place already before you do step 7. And step 7 is what I call apply the 4 R's of marketing. Okay. So, and I go through it in pretty detail in the book, but basically the 4 R's of marketing is reputation, reach, resell, referral. So when you're doing any kind of online marketing, Well, let me ask you a question, and this is a question that says, well, you can give me your authentic answer. This is perfect because I've never asked this question like this. So, so let me ask you this. Let me ask you this question. So, let's say you're new in town and you're looking for a kitchen remodeler, right? And you ask, you're new in town, but you have friends in that area. So you ask your friend about it, and he or she says, oh, yeah, you got to call company ABC. What do you do? What is the first thing you do?
Normally, I would go check them out online to see if company ABC has good reviews, and I would take the information from my friend and say, okay, they said they're super duper, let's see what other people say. And then if that checked out, then I'd probably call them. And the thing that I think is really important is I probably wouldn't even look at other people, because I would go, oh, my friend said these were the best. Everybody else says these guys are really good. I'll go with them. But if I saw that my friend was in the minority and they had like 50 billion bad reviews, I would definitely go, oh, my friend must be crazy. And then I would go look at other people.
Exactly. So that was exactly my point. See? And that's the natural behavior now.
Yeah, that's the truth.
That is the natural behavior now. I've done it myself. And where someone, I recently moved to Jersey, like I said, and I've, looked around and stuff like that. But the most important thing is, I'm going to value my friend's opinion. Not that I'm not devaluing his or her opinion, but I want to check out to see what other people who I don't know, what they say. And if that company... Another question for you is, if that company, let's say, okay, you find reviews and they're all positive, that's one thing. Or if you find reviews and they're bad, that's another thing. But let's say you look them up and you don't see anything about them, right? Doesn't that have you like a pause? Like, I don't see anything about these guys.
I would say, how come they're not online if they're so good? Right. Why can't I find any information about them? How come nobody's talking about them? I would wonder.
Yeah, you would wonder. I mean, that doesn't mean you won't go with them, but you would wonder, right? So that is one of the things that I educate a lot of my clients on, because unfortunately there's a lot of people who I work with who, and actually, fortunately for me, it's unfortunate for them, but fortunately for me, there are a lot of companies out there that say, no, I get all of my business through referral. Oh, I get all of my
word of mouth.
I get all of my. I have companies still to this day, Tammy, that did not have a website until they met me, and I don't want to say the word convince, but I kind of coached them into knowing why it's important. And if you want to recession-proofing your business, you better start thinking that way because of what you and I just exchanged in terms of getting that referral. I mean, in terms of reviews, because reputation is huge now, and we're living in a very transient world where people are moving and they're going to get recommendations from their neighbors, but they're still going to check them out. They're still going to check them out, irrespective of what their neighbor says. So reputation is the first R. Second R is reach. You got to be out there reaching for new potential customers at all times. I don't get this whole, I get all my business through referrals. And okay. At some point that dies out.
Right.
You're living like now, you're happy and everything, but what happens when that dies out? What happens when the guy next door does a better marketing than you? And now what? Now you're scrambling to catch up with him,
Right.
And then resell. Resell is a little bit of the follow-up and stair-step combined. You have to have some sort of a resell strategy. Gone are the days that you are that all you do is kitchen remodeling, and that's it. Gone are those days. I'm sorry. You got to change with the times. You got to do kitchen remodeling and maybe some basement and some bathroom and, and maybe some handyman, or maybe you have a consulting thing on the side too, where you consult people on how to build a business for that. That's what an entrepreneur is. Mm-hmm. And then we have the referral, which, again, I'm not telling people to stop getting referrals, but you want to automate that process too. And that's what we offer our clients on the 4 R's of marketing. So those are the 7 steps in a nutshell.
Well, I deliberately wanted you to give that because you're providing such great value to our listeners so that they can understand that, number one, marketing is not a one and done deal. It's something that it is a process. You have to have a strategy, and you have to have tactics, of course, to do the strategy, and you're there, Frank, to help them figure all this out, and you've got the book, so that's really cool. So where can we find out more about you, and where could they get your book?
Well, the book is slated to be on Amazon on or around the 20th of June.
Okay.
That's when it'll be available. But I can provide you. I'm working on an early bird list. It's a long. I would give the link out right here, but I would probably email it to you because it's a long list. It's one of those long links. It's not an easy remember link, but you can get an early bird list, and you can actually get the book for free.
Ooh, I like free.
Yeah, getting on the early bird list. Then once I get, how I don't know if you've dealt with Amazon in the past, but once you can order a few copies of it. So once I know how many people are on the early bird list, I'll order a few copies and then mail them out to whoever's on the list.
Oh, that sounds really good. So everyone, I'll put the link in the show notes so that you can get on the early bird list for the book. Can you give me the title of your book again, please, Frank?
7 Steps to Recession-Proofing Your Business.
I like that. 7 steps to recession-proofing your business. And can you repeat the 4 R's again?
The 4 R's is reputation, reach, resell, and referral. Okay, so thanks so much, Frank. I think you've really delivered some awesome value today. I really appreciate it. Everyone, be on the lookout for Frank Demming's new book on Amazon and get on that early bird list so that you can learn more about it. And thanks again, Frank, for sharing all the juicy details of the 7 steps and everything that we need to know. It's really important. So again, thanks a lot, Frank. I really appreciate you taking all the time to be with me today. Well, thank you for having me, Tammy. I appreciate this, and I'm looking forward to chatting with you in the future. Thank you. This is Tammy Patzer. Go make it a beautiful day.
Thanks for listening to Business Innovators Radio. To hear all episodes featuring leading industry influencers and trendsetters, visit us online at businessinnovatorsradio.com today.